My name is Jor, and I am 60 years old. In all my years of life, I have learned that the biggest truths sometimes come from the smallest voices. I never imagined that a quiet afternoon with my 6-year-old grandson would reveal a secret that would shake my heart and change my family forever. It was a calm Sunday evening when everything began. The sun was slowly setting behind the trees, casting long golden shadows across the yard. I was sitting on the wooden porch of my old house, gently rocking in a chair that creaked with every small movement. That chair had been with me for nearly 20 years, just like the house itself. This house wasn't just bricks and wood. It was memories. I had built it 35 years ago with my own hands. Every wall carried a piece of my life. I remembered the day my late wife, Maria, stepped into the living room for the first time and smiled with tears in her eyes. "This will be our forever home," she had said. And for many years it truly was. Our children grew up here. Birthdays were celebrated here. Christmas mornings filled the halls with laughter. Even the small scratches on the kitchen table told stories of family dinners and late-night talks. But life changes. Maria passed away 6 years ago. After that, the house felt quieter than it ever had before. 2 years ago, my son Daniel and his wife Sarah told me they were struggling financially. They asked if they could move in with their little boy, Liam. Of course, I said yes. Family always comes first. At least that's what I believed. That afternoon, as I sat quietly watching the sky turn orange, I heard small footsteps running across the porch. "Grandpa." I turned and saw my grandson Liam racing toward me. His little sneakers tapped quickly against the wood, and his messy brown hair bounced as he ran. I smiled warmly and opened my arms. "Well, look who's here." He jumped into my lap, giggling. "Hi, Grandpa." "Hi, champ," I said. "What are you up to today?" He shrugged dramatically. "Nothing. Mom says I ask too many questions." I laughed softly. "Well, lucky for you, Grandpa likes questions." He grinned. But then his smile slowly faded. His small fingers twisted nervously together, and he leaned closer to me. "Grandpa, can I tell you a secret?" I raised an eyebrow. "A secret, huh?" He nodded seriously. "Okay," I whispered, "I'm listening." He looked around as if someone might be watching. Then he leaned closer to my ear and whispered something that made my heart freeze. "Grandpa, I heard my mom planning to take your house and send you somewhere else." For a moment, the entire world seemed to go silent. The birds stopped chirping, the wind stopped moving. All I could hear were his small words echoing in my mind. I blinked slowly. "What do you mean, buddy?" I asked gently. Liam frowned as he tried to remember. "Mom was talking to Dad last night. She said when you sign some papers, the house will be ours, and then you'll go live somewhere else." My chest tightened. "Where?" I asked quietly. He shrugged. "She said maybe a place where old people live together." "A nursing home." The words hit me like a stone. I forced myself to smile so Liam wouldn't worry. "Well," I said softly, "thank you for telling me." He nodded. "I didn't like hearing it," he said seriously. "This is your house." Those simple words carried more loyalty than I expected. I hugged him tightly. "You're a good boy, Liam." But inside, my heart was heavy. That night I couldn't sleep. The house was silent except for the ticking clock on the wall. I stared at the ceiling, thinking about everything Liam had said. Maybe he misunderstood, I told myself. Children sometimes hear things wrong. But around midnight, I got up to get a glass of water. As I walked down the hallway, I heard voices coming from Daniel and Sarah's bedroom. "He's getting older," Sarah said. My steps stopped. I stood quietly near the hallway corner. Daniel sighed. "I know." Sarah continued speaking. If he signs the house to you now, everything will be easier. My stomach twisted. Daniel asked quietly, and what about Dad? Sarah answered casually. We'll find him a place. There are homes for people his age. My heart sank. I stood there for several seconds, unable to move. Everything Liam had said was true. My own son, planning to take my home. The house where he grew up. The house his mother loved. To them, it was just property. Just money. I walked slowly back to my room that night. But something inside me had changed. The next morning, I woke up early and made breakfast like always. Eggs, toast, and coffee. Daniel walked into the kitchen, rubbing his eyes. Morning, Dad. Morning. Sarah came in shortly after. Good morning, Jor, she said with a sweet smile. If I hadn't heard their conversation, I might have believed her kindness. We ate quietly. Then Sarah spoke. Jor, we were thinking about something. I nodded calmly. What is it? Well, she said carefully, maybe we should organize some legal paperwork. Paperwork, I asked. You know the house, she said. Daniel stayed silent. It might be easier if the house was already in Daniel's name. I took a sip of coffee and looked at them both. And why is that? Sarah smiled politely. So everything stays in the family. The irony almost made me laugh. But I simply nodded. I'll think about it. Both of them looked relieved. For the next few days, I acted completely normal. But secretly, I began preparing my own plan. First, I visited a lawyer named Mr. Patel. He was an older man with kind eyes and a calm voice. After hearing my story, he leaned back in his chair. So your son wants the house transferred to him, he said. Yes. And what would you like to do? I thought for a moment. Then I smiled slightly. I want the house to stay with someone who truly cares about it. Mr. Patel nodded. I understand. A week later, Daniel approached me again. Dad, did you think about the paperwork? Yes, I said calmly. I'm ready to sign. Sarah looked thrilled. Really? Yes. But we'll do it at the lawyer's office tomorrow. The next day, we sat together at Mr. Patel's office. Daniel looked excited. Sarah looked confident. The lawyer placed the documents in front of me. I signed them slowly. Then Mr. Patel cleared his throat. There is just one thing I should explain. Sarah frowned. What is it? Mr. Patel adjusted his glasses. The house has been placed into a legal trust. Daniel looked confused. A trust? Yes, Mr. Patel said. Mr. Jor will keep full control of the house for the rest of his life. Sarah's face tightened. And after that? Mr. Patel continued calmly. After Mr. Jor passes away, the house will legally belong to his grandson, Liam. Silence filled the room. Sarah nearly stood up. What? Daniel looked shocked. Dad, why would you do that? I looked at him quietly. Because your 6-year-old son showed more loyalty than you did. Neither of them spoke. You plan to take my home and send me away, I continued. Daniel lowered his head. Sarah looked angry, but she stayed silent. I stood up slowly. This house belongs to someone who loves it. Then I walked out. That evening, Liam ran to me again. Grandpa. I smiled. Hey, champ. He climbed onto the porch chair beside me. Guess what? I said. What? One day this house will be yours. His eyes grew wide. Really? Yes. He hugged me tightly. I love this house. I looked around at the yard, the trees, and the old wooden walls. So do I. And in that moment, I realized something important. Sometimes wisdom doesn't come from age. Sometimes it comes from a small child who simply knows what love and loyalty look like. Moral of the story: true family is not defined by inheritance or property. It is defined by respect, loyalty, and love. And sometimes the smallest hearts carry the greatest honesty.